Okay, the time is 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Mr. Gibbs, will you please read the statement of compliance?
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice of this meeting has been posted properly, advertised in the Daily Record and Suburban Trends. Its agenda has been posted at the appropriate locations, and a copy has been filed with the Pequannock Township Clerk.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer? Here. Mr. Cerisi?
Here.
Ms. Dempsey?
Here.
Ms. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Gibb?
Here.
McSweeney?
Here.
Pompeo?
Here.
Mr. Sennick?
Here.
And Ms. Shen, who is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everyone please stand for the flag salute?
Justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our August 19th meeting. Last week, the board held our summer retreat to discuss progress made against our goals set at the beginning of the year. Goal 1 was to support the district in academic growth and mental health. One example of board action towards that goal was to approve revisions to the PTHS start time. Goal 3 was to work with Dr. Portis to establish a formalized annual schedule of updates regarding student achievement, facilities, and district operations. During the retreat, we reviewed a draft schedule which addressed state assessments, AP enrollment, student services, and everything in between. Substantial progress has been made toward achievement of goals 1 and 3, and we are poised to complete both by the end of the year. Goal 2 was to achieve Carol E. Larson Master Board certification. This certification is granted to high-performing boards that accumulate an additional 10 hours of training in the first 2 years after achieving the first level of certification. In fact, since the inception of this certification, there have only been 47 boards in the state and 11 in Morris County that have reached this level. The Pequannock Board achieved the first level of certification in 2023 and set a goal to achieve master certification level for 2024. Following our retreat and the review of our self-evaluation, I'm happy to report that we have accumulated enough credits to achieve Carol E. Larson Master Board certification, and with that, have completed goal number 2. This could not have been possible without the help of our NJSBA field rep, Charlene Peterson, who performed most of our training, as well as Dr. Portis and Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs performed training, and Dr. Portis was required to be at every one of our training sessions so that they count. Thank you to you all. I want to also thank the board. For the hard work and persistence to accomplish 2 years of training in 1 year. The board will receive our certification plaque at the first Morris County SBA meeting of the year, which will be held at the high school PTHS on October 2nd. Last, I want to provide an update on the Veterans Wall project. As you can see, we have made major progress and are close to the end of major construction. All concrete has been placed, monument walls are installed, awaiting the final coat of stucco, and all lights have been installed. In fact, the lights are active and you can see the monument lit up if you drive by it at night. This week, we will install pavers, the finished coat of stucco on the walls, and next week, we will install the wall caps and perform final landscaping and irrigation work. Again, I want to thank the contractors for donating their services to make this project a reality. Their generosity is just so appreciated and inspiring. So thank you to all of them. And now I'll pass the mic on to Dr. Portis.
All right, thank you, Mr. Senek. So a few items in my report. First off, I just want to thank the police department for organizing a wonderful community event with the National Night Out last week. Mr. Hazelner and I enjoyed being able to pitch in as dunkies for the dunk tank. And both Nancy Portis and the younger Michael Portis wanted to express their gratitude for being able to send me in for a swim a few times. But as a district, we appreciate that the police department truly works as a community partner, the school district, and it's great to be able to share so many experiences with them. So a lot of fun. It was great seeing so many people out for a really fun event. To echo some of what Mr. Senek was saying, the Veterans Wall project's nearing completion, is moving at what I would describe as an astonishing pace. Began as a tremendous opportunity to celebrate the power of community. It's become even greater than what I could have imagined. See our in-kind donors working so hard to do such beautiful work is inspiring, and the extraordinary community support is also incredibly appreciated. So it's meaningful in a lot of ways, and it's gained even further meaning throughout this process. I'd like to also thank Mr. Anderson, the buildings and grounds team, and our custodians for the hard work in getting our schools ready for September 5th. Their pride in the appearance and cleanliness of our schools is obvious and helps set a tone for excellence for our staff, students, and families. And then today we started our new staff orientation. We welcome new staff in today for day one of a 3-day orientation. This year's group is fairly small, but brings a lot of energy, and we're really excited to have them as part of our team. And then finally, this is in regards to a PMC item, but I just want to say that we have an exciting approval on the agenda for PMC, which deals with personnel, which is to welcome our soon-to-be new curriculum director of curriculum instruction, Mrs. Anne-Marie Vansicle. It's bittersweet as we have to say goodbye to our friend, Dr. Sheridan. She's the one with the balloons, who'll be retiring in 12 days after a 25-year career in education. I'll make a more formal speech at another meeting, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank Beth for her outstanding contributions to our district. It's been a lot of fun working with you and watching you grow in this role, and I'm proud of how you've developed programs and infrastructure to ensure that Mrs. Vansicle is positioned for success starting on day one. Congratulations and have fun in retirement.
Mr. Gibbs, you have a report?
Yes. Good evening. On this evening's board agenda, there is a request for an approval for the new playground at North Boulevard in the amount of $58,121.36 through Ben Schaefer Incorporated, who is part of the co-op. The new playground should be installed sometime in mid-November. On July 25th, a utility proposal went out to bid, of which there were 5 energy companies that placed their bid. The winning provider is Direct Energy Business, with an anticipated savings to the school district in the amount of $52,936.24 over the next 2 years. The reconditioning of the ball field started on August 12th with an estimated completion date of August 31st, weather permitting. The resurfacing and striping of the parking lot at the high school was completed during the last week of July. The replacement of the outside molding around the top of the gym, the high school, was completed on Sunday, August 18th. Now for just a brief update on the new board office and additional classrooms. The appraisal on the property where the post office and the Board of Education reside came in at $805,000. On July 25th, I had a meeting with their auditors regarding the purchase of 7 Industrial Road. It was determined that the school district could purchase the building outright without the use of financing, but the school district would have to build the purchase into the 2025-2026 budget in order to use capital reserve funds. My plan of action includes the use of capital reserve funds for the purchase of the new building in July 2025. The SDA grant of $1.7 million, as well as the estimated $805,000 proceeds from the sale of the school's board office property, will go back into capital reserve accounts to help recover some of the costs of the new facility. The asking price of the new building is $2.8 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbs, will you please approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the July 22nd meeting and the August 12th meeting.
Second.
Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Mr. McSweeney,
Like to abstain from July 22nd, but yes to August 12th.
Mr. Pompeo,
I'd like to do the same, abstain from July 22nd, but yes to August 12th.
Ms. Shenton is absent. Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, that brings us to our first opportunity for public comment. Members of the public may speak once for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during this portion of the meeting. Public may speak on any agenda item only during their 5 minutes. And if a member of the public raises a question, direct that question to the board president, state your name and sign in before you begin.
Good evening, Anne Marie Finnan, 166 Boulevard, and President of the Pequannock Township Education Association. And I just wanted to take a quick opportunity to welcome our soon-to-be new Director of Curriculum Instruction. I had a pleasure to meet Mrs. Van Sickle this afternoon, and just excited for the future working with you and welcome you. I did mention to her that I'm so excited for her to get into the classrooms and see the teaching, because it's something we're all particularly proud of in this district. And as long as I have the microphone, I wanted to thank Dr. Sheridan for a great tenure and all the things you've done for our district during difficult times, and for your partnership. I feel very privileged to have worked with you. And I actually have to run in a little bit. So I know this is an agenda item, but just in terms of welcoming everyone back and echoing Dr. Portis's thanks to our 12-month staff and to the PTA members who worked through the summer to get everything ready. And I know the 10-month employees are ready, getting ready. I've had the chance to be in every school in the past 2 weeks for various reasons. And there were staff setting up and preparing. And I think it's going to be a wonderful year. A lot of changes, a lot of new things, but I'm very optimistic and excited. So thank you, board. Congratulations on your honor. And thank you for doing that work to get there.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That brings us to the approval of our action items. First up is PMC. Mr. Cerisi, would you please move PMC?
I would like to move PMC 19-25 through PMC 39-25.
Second.
Question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi,
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey,
Yes.
Mr. Gittin,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton is absent, Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ms. Van Sickle, congratulations.
But one comment I'll make, other than the obvious congratulations, is there has been some confusion in the board office about when I say Anne Marie now, about whom I'm speaking, because Mrs. Finn and I work together on a lot of things very frequently, and now we'll be working with you quite a bit. So we'll resolve that one. We'll figure that one out. But so happy for you. So happy for Dr. Sheridan to know she's leaving her role in incredibly capable hands. And I'm excited for our future. So thank you, board, for your trust in our hiring process, and we're going to be fantastic. Congrats.
All right, next up is CIS. We have 2 items for workshop, lead request to record the instructor and the transition to the new director of curriculum and instruction.
And I guess I kind of already spoke about item number 2 there, but I do want to address that specifically. One, there's an item, it's not up for a vote, but I wanted to make you aware that we received a request from our instructor for the lead program. Lead is what took over for Dare. We made the transition for a few reasons, but I'm very happy with the lead program. And Detective Giuliano has been really involved with it and has an opportunity to get further credentials as an instructor. What the lead program wants to be able to do is record him teaching 4 separate classes. And so admittedly, I gave a little pushback from the initial request because I didn't feel like it was comprehensive enough. And to their credit and lead organization, what they came back with, and it's in backup, is really good. And I wanted to make sure that the identity of our students was going to be protected. I have assurances of that. I'm aware of who's going to be reviewing the information. It's going to be a very select few in the leadership of the instructional program. And also I got assurances about where those videos are going to be warehoused and then ultimately destroyed when they're no longer of use for determining the efficacy of our SRO's lessons. But if we do have students who aren't able to be videotaped, we would obviously move them to a part of the classroom where they couldn't be recorded. Recording will take place from the back of the room so they get the back of kids' heads, which doesn't give away any real identifiers. But something that I just want to bring up to your attention. I know we do allow for recording for student teachers. It's actually a state requirement. But though I initially pushed back and rejected the requests, my recommendation now is that we accept it.
Would we go to each child's parents to get approval for them to be part of this?
No, there's at the start of the year, from the documents people can return, they can fill out a request not to be photographed or filmed. And that's a blanket request. And so that would be granted for that as well. So we would make sure that those children, I believe this is just for the 5th grade groups. I got to double check if it's 8th as well, but whichever grade levels are involved in the instruction, we would make sure that none of those students appeared on film.
And Officer Giuliano is requesting this, or it's part of his ascending to a higher level of certification?
Yeah, he requested it, and that's exactly what it is. He wants to be able to get a stronger certification as an instructor. So he's motivated to do it. He takes the program very seriously, which we like. So I'm comfortable allowing the principals to sign the consent form.
Will that potentially be at all 3 schools or 1 school? Do we know?
So it would be, it could potentially be at all 3 elementaries as well as possibly PV. So that's something that we would need to work with Officer Giuliano on determining exactly which lessons he wanted to record. Like, I don't know if it would be 2 with one of the classes at Hillview and 2 with one of the classes at North Boulevard or something along those lines. But we'll map that out and make sure that's handled in as efficient and clean a manner as possible. And then the other one, I'm excited to report, we've already begun the transition to our new director of curriculum instruction. We brought Mrs. Van School in earlier in the summer, and she was brought in to fill the student services pre-K to 5 director role. Ms. Bronco is currently out on maternity leave and doing very well. We can't get her to stop working, but she's still doing really well. And her leave is going to last all the way until the end of October. I don't like to identify the date specifically, but the last day in October, which is the 31st, is her last day of her leave. But with that said, we're already in the process of transitioning Mrs. Van Skull to the curriculum instruction role. She's been communicating quite a bit with Dr. Sheridan, so we're anticipating that's going to be as seamless a transition as one could imagine. And then we have Mrs. Debbie Ioso coming back in September to fill in for Ms. Bronco for September and October. So we won't have an opening in that position, and we're not going to try to force Mrs. Van Skull to do 2 roles as she's beginning the most important one, which is the director of curriculum instruction. But it's worked out really well for her having an opportunity to get to know the admin team as well as some of the staff members in the interim role, and now being able to transition to a permanent role. Probably couldn't have scripted it any better. I don't know if you guys have any questions too about plans there. Cool. And now that the vote went through, I'm going to be sending out an update to the community at some point this week, probably hold up till Friday, just letting them know about transitions in place. And what I just explained to you, I'll explain about Mrs. Ioso filling in for pre-K to 5 as well.
Okay. That leads us to the approval of those items. Mr. McSweeney, would you please move the items under CIS?
Yes, I'd like to move CIS 08-25 through CIS 14-25.
Second.
Question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes, to all except abstain on CIS 08-25 where it pertains to me.
Mr. Cerisi,
The same, yes to all except for CIS 0825 in reference to the New Jersey School Board's trip.
Ms. Dempsey,
Yes to all, but abstain to CIS 0825 as it pertains to me.
Mr. Gittin,
Yes to all except CIS 08-25 where it pertains to myself.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes,
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton is absent, Mrs. Esposito,
Yes, except I abstain from CIS 08-25 as to where it pertains to me.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes to all except CIS 08-25 where it pertains to me.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. Bloomer, would you please move the items under FFA?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to move FFA 17-25 through FFA 26-25.
Second.
Question or discussion?
I have a question on FFA 2525 for the North Boulevard equipment. And mainly my question is, will the existing playground equipment need to be closed off to students at the beginning of the school year? Or
Yeah,
like what kind of a state was it in that we?
We're looking to have it removed as soon as possible, so it's not even instruction for the students.
Okay,
Real quick before we make the motion, were we surprised at the value of the property, post office property?
Well, Dr. Portis and I had talked about that. It was between 9 and 1.2 we were talking about, but unfortunately, it's not what the appraiser said.
Is the appraiser a U.S. government employee?
No, but he is a professional appraiser. He does it for municipalities, towns. He's a professional. He's not just anyone.
Okay.
It seemed well.
And
Well, that's the appraised value. That may not be what we sell it.
Right, I know, of course.
You know, I mean, the post office is gonna do the same thing. They're
Right.
gonna get their value. It's probably gonna be lower than ours. We gotta
Sure.
try to, manipulate it to get it as high as we can.
Okay.
And yes, just to add to that, I was a bit more vocal in expressing my disappointment with what the price came in at. And I heard somebody down there offering to purchase the property. It's a pretty nice sized property. For 805, it's not too shabby. But Mr. Gibbs declined to consider my offer. Next time.
I'm sure Wawa would pay a lot more for that location right there. Just saying.
I got a question about the 25. Do we know when the equipment would be installed?
Well, they said, mid-November. I mean, there's no exact date yet. No. Yeah. No, I mean, it could be worse. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi,
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey,
yes,
Mr. Gittin,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
yes,
Mr. Pompeo.
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton is absent. Mrs. Esposito
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd like to take a quick moment just to thank our donors, Mr. Diffin and the Pequannock Field Hockey Association for their generous donations.
Thank you, Mr. Bloomer. Next up is policy. Ms. Dempsey, would you please move the item under policy?
yeah, real quick before I move that, I'll just mention that earlier I had sent out a summary. The homework committee among the admin team met and Dr. Portis shared the agenda from that with myself and Mr. Senick. And then I kind of put together a summary for everybody and shared it out with you. So if you have any questions regarding that first meeting, feel free to let me know and I'll compile everything and get it to Dr. Portis. They're still in the beginning stages, but there is a date set for the next meeting to discuss it further. Motion to approve P 04-25.
Any question or discussion?
I'm sorry, just to clarify, we're gonna discuss the homework policy at the next meeting. Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, because we're gonna meet, by we, I mean, the members of the admin team who are on that committee. But we're meeting on Tuesday of next week to follow up, and I've already drafted a revision of the policy. And the understanding with that group is I want them to be confident enough to gut it. If there's stuff that they feel isn't appropriate or needs to be explained further. So I'm pretty enthusiastic about it. It was I found it to be a particularly strong meeting last week when we were going over it. And it's unusual for administrators to get particularly excited talking about policy. It's admittedly dry content. So the energy that they brought, I was really impressed with. And it was nice as I was going through my minutes, realizing that really everybody, it was 7 of us total, everybody contributed. So I think we've got a pretty consistent vision for what we want in there. We want it to be concise, but also provide ample direction. So you'll get some outcomes probably, I'd say, within a month or so. Because I want to make sure what I get to you is really sharp. Yeah, I think October is reasonable to get a first reading in. I mean, really, the big push would be to have it in place for 25, 26. But you can make an adjustment midstream. It just can't be anything where you say that homework is going to count for 50% of a grade. You can't do that midstream. I will tease this though, that the 5% rule about homework counting for 5% of the total grade is going to go by the wayside. I don't think it's an effective practice. So that's like I guess that's like the preview.
I didn't put it on. I was just talking. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm having a day. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Portes. I think it's great. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would just want a little bit of a time frame.
Yeah, and sorry if I was confusing in the way I described it. The summary I sent out is really just sort of like the discussion points that came up when they were talking about the policy. So it does give you a sense of the direction certain ideas will go in, but we'll better understand when we see a draft that comes out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you'll see the policy kind of consistent with what we have right now. It's going to be grounded more in a philosophical approach, as opposed to mandating, top down, you must do these things, but just the homework needs to be purposeful. And so as a parent who did not have to endure much of the homework battleground, because my wife took those hits, I can tell you, poorly designed homework given frequently can be very disruptive. So we want to make sure that what we give has meaning, has purpose, and helps to improve the overall quality of instruction and learning, ultimately learning.
Thank you.
Dr. Portis, I know that the policy that was that Ms. Dempsey sent around said that they would usually like to do it for the entire school year. So we couldn't get it in place for this school year, but could we possibly consider getting it in for January rather than waiting until next September?
No, we'll have it in probably for first reading in October.
But we could actually start the staff could start using it in October.
Yeah, I think so, because again, it's not going to be a directive. It's not me telling people, since I know everything about education, you must count homework for 20%. Like it's not gonna be anything where they're gonna get penned in, or we're gonna be changing the rules after the game has begun. The one thing I will say is we are eliminating the 5% rule, which I think will get a lot of favorable responses. But we do want something that the staff can see, and quite frankly, kids can see as well as families, that this is what we believe is the importance of homework. And even if it's not approved until October, we can also talk about it at our September staff meetings too. And just say, like, more so at the high school, middle school, but this is the purpose of this. And I think that kind of guidance, I think, will help, and then work with staff to work within the parameters of that.
Okay, cool.
So I think the only potential piece of it that would affect like a September start would be if we did include language in there about homework-free weekends, specific homework-free weekends. And so there was the suggestion of maybe including language around that. Is that something that could still be talked about for the coming school year, or where are we with that?
Yeah. And we could push that out, and that's largely contingent again on high school and middle school about the homework-free weekends. One that I think will get quite a bit of favor is the Memorial Day weekend. Because we're past AP, you're in that home stretch of the school year. And then we're looking to do one earlier in the year as well. And I don't want to dip into that too often, because then it loses its luster and it also does become restrictive. As a former AP teacher, I can tell you, if you said I had to do one homework-free weekend a month, I would have lost my mind. So we want to try to balance the needs of our staff as well as with our kids, and also make it so it's a special thing that can happen every so often.
Okay. Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi.
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey.
Yes.
Mr. Gittin,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton.
Feel like I was here for 3 seconds of the conversation. I'm gonna abstain just for that reason. Thank you.
Mrs. Esposito
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to our second opportunity for public comment. Members of the public may speak for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during this portion of the meeting, and the public member may speak on any topic during their 5 minutes. If a member of the public raises a question, please direct that question to the board president. State your name and sign in. We begin. Mr. Nastione, the floor is yours.
John Nacian, Sunset Road, Pompton Plains. I'm finance for the high school music parents. I want to congratulate you guys on your meeting your certification goals as a board. That's great. I want to thank facilities committee for redoing the ticket booth for us at the stadium there. Hopefully that's done for the first football game. It's coming up before school even starts. So I want to thank Mr. Hazler was there this morning to speak to the marching band and send them off to their band camp for the week. It was good to see him out there to send the kids on their way. We still face our transportation issues for the marching band. The family that had moved props and equipment for 8 years. Right, they've moved on from the music department, and we're down to probably about a month. We believe we're going to be renting an enclosed trailer. Well, not we don't carry auto insurance, but one of the parents is going to rent a trailer, pull that trailer with their personal vehicle. Even if we figure that piece out, we don't have a place to park the trailer with the props in it. Right, the previous person who helped us out with that, they had enough property where they could park the trailer and they stored everything. So we'll probably be requesting like to park the trailer somewhere at the school here. I don't know what's got to happen for that piece of the puzzle, but that's probably going to be coming if a trailer and truck driver can't be provided by the district. And then just 2 personal things. One with the change of start times. I don't know if the police department is involved with new traffic patterns, timings, new parent schedules, and new routes, right? They're not going to be in the same route because high school's at a different time than the other schools, I think. So if they don't know, I would let them know. They may want to be around to help people feel those things out at the start of the school year. And again, I'd like to thank the administration and board for providing some information at some of the zoning board meetings for the property across the street and just informing not only the zoning board, but the public, you know, what we do here, what we're obligated to provide should that facility ever be approved. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Congratulations on your recent accolade. That's amazing. I'm speaking on behalf of the Special Education Parents Advisory Committee tonight. They just wanted me to share a little bit of information. They did have their first sort of summer kickoff meeting on Friday of last week, just sort of going through goals for the upcoming school year. They are very excited for another year of partnership and collaboration with the district administration. I just want to put it out there, and I'm gonna, try to put it out there to the elementary principals as well. We are looking for parent representation still in Hillview and SJG. Anyone who's listening and is interested, Pequannock.cpac@gmail.com. Thank you. Tina IKO to Lockwood Ave.
All right, thank you both. Thank you for the update on CPAC. And I'm gonna let Dr. Portis talk to the request for the ban.
Yep, thank you. So yeah, I'm excited about the new ticket booth. I understand that it was therapeutic for one of our staff members to dismantle that. The previous one it fell rather easily too, but and yeah, I'm really happy too that Mr. Hazel had a chance to send the kids off to camp. He's very proud of them, and I know he's such a prominent figure in their lives, and for them to know that he's genuinely enthusiastic has to mean a lot, not just to him, but also to them. As far as the spot to put a trailer, I was pointing at Mr. Gibbs as you were talking about that. I have no idea, but I know a guy to my left who does, who might be looking at me right now. But if the district can help you, we're partners. We work together on a lot. So we'll see if there's something that we can help with. I just can't make any promises. He's still looking at me. And then, yeah, the police are aware of the later start time. I had a conversation actually last week following up on that. So it's going to be a little bit disruptive for the first few days, just because it's something that's not familiar. It's like anything else, people will adapt within a week or so, but they're aware of it, making sure that the crossing guards are aware, and yeah, we're pretty excited about it, and happy to be able to offer information that help to guide the decision-making process, or even just the process for the zoning board. Just, if you can share information, I feel like it's incumbent to do so. And then as far as Keo's discussion about CPAC, I'm pretty impressed actually. You guys met on a Friday in the summer. Like that's unheard of. So I will marvel at that. But as far as getting parent reps for Hillview and SJG, if you reach out to if you have somebody from the organization, reach out to Mrs. Stager and Mr. Reiner. They'll use their platform to get the word out as well. And we're looking to send updates at the end of this week. I know I definitely am, but also probably from the schools as well, so they can tuck it into there.
Okay, any board member with any unfinished business? Any board member with any new business? Board member announcements.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Dr. Sheridan for her many years of service to the district, and welcome Anne Marie.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank Beth on your years here. It was, it was great. I mean, you were kind of like the inaugural director of curriculum again, because we got rid of it was gone for so many years and brought that back. So it's definitely a special position that you held, and I want to thank you for all the work. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Congratulations on your retirement. I could see that you're very excited to retire. You're also probably a little sad that you have to leave us, but I can see that you're very excited for it. And to be honest with you, I'm excited for you because I've spoken to you a couple of times about what you're going to do, and it seems like you're going to have a great time. So I wish you much success, and thank you for everything you've done for our district, and have fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Vincicle to our district. We look forward to having you. I definitely would like to thank Dr. Sheridan for her many years here at Pequannock. It was a pleasure to work with you. You were Olivia's teacher for a little while, so that was amazing as well. We appreciate all you've done for the district, and most importantly for our students. I wish you all the best on your retirement, in particular all your traveling, and good health. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy.
Just congratulations on your retirement. I hope you get to enjoy it and welcome.
Thank you. I'm just gonna echo everyone's sentiments. Congratulations. It really was an honor and a privilege, and retirement, I hope, is awesome. I'm very jealous.
Thank you.
As you can see, I was late. I just got off the bus from work. So, and welcome, and apologies everyone for being late.
Yep, I'll echo everybody's comments. Congratulations on your retirement. It was great working with you. Thanks. Anne Marie, welcome.
I feel very bittersweet about leaving, but I feel I've truly have so enjoyed all my time here in Pequannock. I mean, I've been here for my entire administrative career, which has been just a wonderful, wonderful place. Between the board has been so supportive, and I've been humbled and so appreciate that. It's the people, it's the students, and it's my administrative colleagues, it's the teachers that I've worked with that have kept me here. The work is always there, it's always challenging, it's always been so rewarding. But it's the people that really make this place very, very special, and I will truly miss that. But when we offered Anne Marie the job, a huge sigh of relief and smile across my face. I know that I'm passing this into the hands of someone who's very capable and competent and will just take Pequannock to that next level. So congratulations. So thank you. Thank you all again. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, with that, we do have reason to go into executive session tonight, where we will discuss personnel matters. No action will be taken, and we will adjourn from there. Our next meeting is September 3rd here at the high school. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Good night, everyone.